Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to another video. We have a special guest with us this week. We've got some amazing Book of Binance news that's coming up from the man, the myth, the legend known as Aaron. And then we're going to talk some MoonYield and MSS after that. Aaron, good to see you, man. Take it away.
Yep. Well, yeah, like you mentioned, we got a special guest with us today, G Money.
Hello.
A lot of people in the MSS community are familiar with your face now with all the great content you've been pumping out lately. So, yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yes, excited to be here.
So I think for today, what we'll do is we'll start off talking some book updates that I got for everybody, and then after we finish talking book, we'll switch over into MSS and MoonYield. And do bear with me, guys. I'm still getting over my cold, so I'm not 100% yet. But yeah, let's get right into it.
You sound great, Aaron.
All right, let's get my screen up there. Oh, that's not my screen. There we go. So I guess first one is we did announce a couple days ago that we are going to be discontinuing the farms. So actually, I guess that already happened. Yeah. So we're in chapter 3 now. So there is a notice up on the site that, chapter 3 update, burning has been temporarily suspended, and as well as the farms, there's no chapter 3 farms. So reason that we did that is that the farms weren't quite accomplishing the goals that we were looking, to accomplish in terms of raising awareness. It was being looked at more as like a yield farm, and it was hurting, it was hurting the buy pressure. It was increasing the sell pressure. It really wasn't accomplishing the goals that, we set out to accomplish. So, I thought it would be, instead of, originally we said that we're going to put a cap on how much each wallet can earn. There's some issues with that. For one, it's possible to get around, and it also doesn't really directly help us achieve the goals that we're looking to achieve. So, for those reasons, it's been decided that, we got to just rethink it and, come up with a way to put those tokens, to work. And so it's in the best interest of all the existing token holders and, all of our future token holders. And, most importantly, it's, if you want a big bag of book, or if you want any bag of book, you got to buy it. And that's, just like any other meme coin. And that's exactly how this should be looked at. And, we saw some pretty good price action when I announced that. So I think the community was pretty okay with that change.
Yep. Bullish.
Yep. So, as I mentioned, I've been sick, so I didn't really get as much done on some of the new features as I would have liked, but I am, starting to get back to myself now, so I'm sure I'll be pumping out features and releases in no time. So expect the V3 liquidity tool. Definitely I'll have it ready before next week's AMA. I'm not going to give it an exact day, but could be as soon as tomorrow, perhaps, but might be a couple of days more than that. Stay tuned in the book announcements, and I'll be sure to keep everybody posted on that.
You being sick, you're still faster than 95% of the devs that are healthy, so it's all good.
Yeah, and it's also something that I can't really take any shortcuts, right? Like, this is going to be locking up, likely millions of dollars worth of people's LPs, right? So it's something where it has to be done right. It has to be checked, triple checked, right? So it's not the kind of thing that you want to be rushing. So
I can verify that writing code for LPs is one of the most complex, solidity things I've done. So you really have to tiptoe. It's very important.
Yeah, and I haven't worked super extensively in V3. Like, I've done a bunch of stuff with it, but all the core stuff is all working in the contract. But it's also not something it's not the easiest thing to display on the website too, right? To create a new position and make it easy to understand and to see your existing positions and to explain what's going on, right? There's a little bit of effort there, and that's the part that's not my strong point. But
I'll send you a contract you can look at.
Oh no, the contract stuff's fine. It's the
UI stuff. I'll send you a UI. You can.
All right, there we go. All right, V3 is going to be ready a day sooner.
There you go. Aaron, I'm definitely pumped about it, man. I got a portion of my bag set aside for it as well, so definitely exciting.
I just saw that we had some questions coming in. Actually, while we're talking about the website, so something else that I think I've mentioned, but I'll definitely just announce it right now, is I've got a professional UI designer that's actually has his hands on the source code right now, and he's actively updating the entire look of the site. Complete makeover. It's going to, have a meme feel to it. It's going to, be a lot more polished and crisp, and not my usual ugly site. So it's gonna refresh really soon. I might have that as really in the near future. Like, could even be today or tomorrow. I might have that back, but I haven't actually seen it. I've just seen little screenshots, so I'm not really sure exactly how far the guy is along. But I'm excited to see what he's putting together. So that'll be coming very, very soon. Something else for book I want to talk about is meme deck. I don't know, you guys, I'm sure have probably noticed a lot of the cool images and animations and stuff that we've got going on in the book TG. So those are coming from meme deck. So what anybody can do, you can just head over to memedeck.xyz and you can just pick Book of Binance from this character drop down right here. And you basically can just put in whatever AI query you want, and it will basically merge the book logo that I've already uploaded in there with whatever prompt you put in. And it's got a pretty generous free tier, so you can play around with that. You could probably, I don't know, do 50 images a day or whatever it might be. And yeah, let's I encourage everybody to play around with that and create some content for us to share. And yeah, it's a pretty awesome site. I guess I can show some of the stuff that's already been created. So this is all community stuff. It's all, a lot of this has come into my own deck here. I'm not sure exactly how this all ties together with decks and everything, but these are, just some stuff that's already been created. So, yeah, definitely very cool stuff. All right.
Very cool.
I think that's most of what I had for book. Yeah. Let's maybe handle any questions about book, and then we can move on to the next category. Next topic. Let's take book to the moon and beyond. Oh, we're going. G-Money gas pump games in the house.
Oh, that was a former project. I am potentially building a game for MSS, but I'll save that for a later time.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Oh, got a question. What do we do with our MSS and trunk tokens that are in the farm? So what you want to do with that, because chapter 2 is now finished, you're going to want to go in here and, basically, go into whichever farms that you're in and, pull your assets out. There's no huge rush. These are going to still be here. So just, if you head over to the farm page, it is going to be chapter 3 now. So just head over to chapter 2 if that's where your tokens are. And yeah, you can withdraw your assets and your rewards. I got a question here. Will you release the LP tool when it's ready, or will you wait till next Thursday and do an AMA before? I'm going to release it when it's ready. And that likely will be before the next AMA. But we'll definitely talk about it thoroughly next AMA. All right. Well, got all the questions handled. So if you guys have any other questions about books, drop them in. But for now, I guess we could switch topics over to mint stake share and MoonYield.
Gee, I can tell you this, man. Your videos have made a huge impact on the the whales in the background. Yes.
Where are those whales coming from?
Yeah, I don't know. Gee, you housing whales in the living room, man?
Yeah, there's a few whales that we all swim together.
That's what I'm talking about. Nah, gee, man, your videos have been outstanding. I've checked them out, and I gleaned a lot of information off of it, man. And I've been able to put some pretty good money in my pocket over the past week, and never hurt the price of MSS, helped the ecosystem, and bought MSS, man. Take it away, G.
Yeah, no, it's been really good. I'm happy to sort of bring the community together. I too have been learning from doing this. Like my strategy has been shifting. But one of the sort of initiators was MUSD was sitting at $1.50. I think the MSS price was at like 0.006. And it just created this insane difference between how much MSS I could buy with essentially free money, that 50 cents. And so really the compounding, nature of buying MSS, supporting the price, adding to my trove, borrowing more, using profits to buy more. I think I went from, 6K in collateral value to about 80K in like 10 days. That wasn't money in my pocket. That was just me siphoning liquidity, right? So it was really crazy to see. And I think that just woke a lot of people up. I think the MSS pool had like 100K of value go through it in a day, which was like 5x what we normally do. So yeah, it was just eye-opening for everyone, including myself, I think.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the timing of that first video, because that came right after a liquidation wave, right? So it's like, it was an interesting time to like put out a hype video for MoonYield, because that's like when people are typically all like shying away from taking out.
Totally.
But on the other hand, that's really when you want to be entering those. It's essentially a leveraged position. So when do you want to enter a leveraged position? When it's at the bottom, right? That's when it's safest. I mean, provided it actually is the bottom, but yeah, right. But yeah, that's when it's, there's the most profit to be made. That's when, it's, the safest. And
for me, it was a mindset shift. Even if it's going down in price, you're still just getting a better and better deal, assuming there's some recovery in the future, right? And so, I think just seeing the initial power and like you said, the leverage I was able to gain. I think I, was borrowing like almost 60 grand of MUSD, 90+% of which I was putting back into MSS. But I think the other mindset shift to really sell was, you get these MSS rewards on liquidations, and at the moment you get it at a good deal. You get it at like 150% of your MUSD value. And so not chucking that and instead just, adding to your stake, which with the 50% bonus makes a ton of sense right now, or adding to your trove and just being able to borrow more. Both are good plays. The only bad play is, selling.
So what I think was amazing though is just like the way that you demonstrated that, like if you enter into a big position in those, right after that liquidation wave, like the way that you were able to build up your account in such a short period of time and documented the whole thing, right? Like that was amazing. I think that really like opened up a lot of people's eyes in terms of like what they can do with MoonYield, right, and the potential there. Yeah,
and my first move was like not even a sustainable or good one. I think I took like all my stability pool, sold it, bought MSS, and then reborrowed everything, which was kind of a good play when MUSD was at $1.50. But when it's at like $1.05 or $1.10, it's kind of not a good play. So it took a few iterations to like understand how to perfect the strategy and like create some nuance, right, with like how money is moving.
But either way though, you were still like entering like a large MSS position at basically at the bottom. So like the $1.50 MUSD was like a massive bonus, but like either way, like that's when you want to be entering.
It would have worked. Yeah. But I even tell people, if MUSD is at, let's say 95 cents, right? It still makes sense to borrow against it with MSS and sell or, buy it, whatever. You're still not selling the asset, right? You're just, so if you think about like an interest loan in the real world, let's just call it, 5-10%. This is like that difference between 95 cents and $1, right? You're still getting a good deal. You're getting 95 cents to your dollar. The system is built in a pretty resilient way. As long as MUSD is protected, it will print. I mean, that's how money is printed in the real world every day.
Yep.
The other thing, G, just from a everyday perspective that really kicked in with me is how fast an MSS stake in MoonYield can build up if you use that where you divide it up into third methods. So I've established a rule in MoonYield: whatever I put in there, and I borrow out, a minimum of a third of it goes back into MSS. So every time I make a transaction, one of the kegs in the wheels is it's a requirement to buy more MSS, and man, it built up quick. I'm talking real quick.
Yeah, I'm actually pivoting my strategy today, and I'll document it. But I can't say no to the 50% bonus on the stake. So yeah, most of my effort's going to go into that this month. And shout out to the various whales I've talked to about that.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing staking taking all kinds of inflows, right? Like, I mean, we've seen pretty, steady, or high buy pressure on MSS, but a lot of that was going towards MoonYield, and now we're seeing like a nice mix where like there is still huge buys that are going right into MoonYield, but you've also got huge buys. I saw a huge buy, I think it was last night, where it got split perfectly in half, right? Half went into MoonYield, half went into getting
which makes perfect sense. Yeah,
it's a great way to get started, right? Because you can keep part of your bag liquid and play around with MoonYield and get a feel for it, but you still take advantage of the promotion. So
yeah, it's really elegant. I mean, I know like MSS inflation was obviously like a hot topic before MoonYield, and what's really good about this is like you can essentially claim and compound at a steady rate, grow your deposits, profit on the claim days, but profit through MUSD, and the increased volume through MoonYield only makes it more attractive, right? The issue before is people weren't using the app, and so there was no incentive to sort of jump in the tokens. There was no volume, and so just flipping that mindset and showing people that you don't need a huge stake to use this. Like you just need $150, and you can start the wheel pretty quickly.
And the inflation is your friend, 100%.
Yeah, it pivots the mindset, right? Now there's MSS, or theoretically there's MSS inflation. If everyone's borrowing, that's just volume inflation, which is good.
Yes.
And the pressure goes to the MUSD LP, and that's where the sort of volume and money is flowing through.
And the other thing that's even more attractive is more people are taking out Trove, so it makes even staking the third leg of it even more attractive too, staking Moonshare. So I'm doing all three of it.
So I'll drop a little bit of alpha here. So something I was talking about a little bit with the team is, obviously like I'm always looking for new ways to raise awareness and get more like participation and more, action into the MSS and MoonYield protocols. So I was thinking that it might make sense to run some ads on MUSD and the MUSD staking, because like that, it really is like an incredible opportunity to earn over 500% it's at right now.
My light bulbs went off yesterday. I was like, oh my God, I'm missing out on so much potential.
Yes, but like, I mean, typically a stable coin's, if it pays 20% a year, it's incredible, right? So we can take in all kinds of inflows and still have that be over 100% APR. And those inflows on MUSD pushing the peg up, that's going to make all your great strategies work all that much better with a higher value MUSD.
Yes.
So the guys see my issue with some of the advertising on MSS before is that it takes a big commitment to get into the staking. It takes a lot of understanding. It takes there's a lot of barriers there where like that's why the influencer system and the referral system really kind of shines in that regard. But MUSD, anybody can buy it on the open market and stake it, and it's it's something that's easy to understand. It earns huge. It helps just as much.
I'm surprised there's only 137 grand supply, like, because it is just such a how are you missing out on 500%?
Yeah, we just need more eyes on this. That's literally all we need, right? We can get a couple $100,000 in there probably, which is we'll be able to sell MUSD for more MSS for days, with those kind of inflows, right?
Yeah.
And the money is so stinking easy to make. I mean, it's so easy.
Like again, the real world example, Rick. Yeah, in the real world example, right? You're typically loaning out money that's depreciating in some capacity, right? So when the asset's appreciating, we're sort of not used to that in the real world. It doesn't really happen.
Right.
So pretty interesting.
Troves growing daily. Hurry, someone make a trove so we can be at 100 troves before AMA is over. Oh yeah, we're
at 99 right now.
I would have to set up another wallet, which I'm not doing.
Uncle Rick says MUSD staking, earning 1.5% daily on an effing stable. Yep, it's really that hard to believe. It's crazy. So we got to get the word out there. Definitely.
Aaron, I'm excited about that LP tool you got coming out for Book, man. That's pretty freaking sweet.
Yeah, it'll be massive. Converting all that into one click and then adding the bonus. I mean, yeah, it's a killer feature. It's probably one of the best LP features I've seen.
Yeah, and I think just the cycles it's going to create, right? Like, you know, because I've seen like, I don't know if I would call it similar tools, but I guess I've seen like similar ideas, but with like different objectives, and you know, and so for example, there's this one coin on Base Chain that I'm in, and they've got like this itchy vault or something like that it's called, where like you could basically icky, I don't know how to pronounce it, but basically you take this coin and you put it in single-sided, just like the tool that we're making, but this one is kind of just it's more so meant to generate you fees. It doesn't really do anything good for you, like if the token's mooning, right? Like you end up actually, like, I think losing tokens if the token's mooning just because of the rebalancing and everything it's doing. But like I just see some of the inflows that this thing gets, and it's just mind-boggling, right? Like, yeah, this token, when I was talking, like it's Base Pepe, it went to like, you know, almost $100 million, right? Like it could pull down a lot right now, but I think a lot of that came from guys that were just buying like 40, 50,000 bucks worth at a time and just dumping it into that vault, right? And it's but it's not locked. Ours is going to be locked, right? And guys are going to get a nice bonus. So it's like it has the potential to be, for one, that never gets sold again, and there's all that more reason to want to like enter that position. So it's
just using the Book rewards as a moon bag, and then, you know, taking everything else back into Book is like such a good play.
Yeah, definitely can't wait to get that pushed out. All right. So can I go back to bed now, or?
Yeah. rest up.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, no. What else do you guys want to cover? I guess actually there's some MoonYield stuff I wanted to talk about.
Cool.
Just some of the real basics that maybe like gets overlooked, like while, you know, studying some of the advanced strategies. Where do I start? So I guess, you know, I think a question that I see a lot in TG is, you know, what is a safe collateral ratio, right?
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people giving suggestions, and like I think oftentimes there's not like, it's not explained thoroughly enough where it's like, you know, the factors that you need to be looking at in order to know, like, because like I think the most important thing is that, you know, your collateral ratio, there is no such thing as what number is safe, right? It really all depends like what the MSS price is doing, what BNB price is doing, even, you know, what you anticipate the price to be doing, like, you know, how you know, how much it would bother you if you got liquidated, right? Like because again, like look at your grade strategy, right? Like if you're entering after a liquidation wave and you're expecting a bounce, you can go a lot more aggressive like you did. And that's
heavy.
You built the account so big that like you didn't really care if you got liquidated after, right? And like that's one mentality to have, right? And I think that's a great one if you've set it up that way. Where like other guys, they might be in completely different mindsets, or they might have not entered and might not have grown their bag as much, so they might want to protect it a lot more.
I think a fundamental thing on the borrowing is this is an interest-free loan. So the only incentive to ever pay back a loan is to stop paying the interest on it, right? So in this case, while you still want to borrow responsibly because you don't want to be liquidated, there's much less incentive to sort of worry about paying back the loan, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, especially back when, MUSD was trading at $1.50, because, like if you took a loan with like a higher risk loan, let's say like, say 160, 170% collateral ratio, like you're literally like, if you put in $170 of MSS, you borrow 100 MUSD, but then you're getting $150 for that 100 MUSD. It's like, you're really only out $20 if you get liquidated right that moment. Forget about
Yeah, what people don't realize is, yes, you get liquidated, your MSS goes away, but so does your debt. And so any MSS that you get in the stability pool as a reward is immediately money you can borrow on. So I was liquidated for like 4.5 million MSS, and the next day I took the 400K MSS of rewards and borrowed against it. And it was like almost nothing had happened, basically. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah, you just started the wheel right back up.
Yeah, I almost didn't notice it. Yeah, I mean, my numbers are way smaller now, but the machine is still running the same.
Oh, right. So we just got that 100th trove in. We got a question here though. Is there a tax for opening a trove? I just borrowed 200 MUSD, but my trove I owe 206. Yeah, so there is a 2% borrow fee. None of that goes to the protocol. That all goes actually to the Moonshare stakers. So actually, that's something else that we should probably touch on is, because I know that when MoonYield was first released, there was a lot of concern about how much Moonshare staking was earning.
Well, there's no volume.
I think part of the problem with that is that it's not really easy or possible to show an accurate APR. So if you're just looking at random intervals and it just looks like the number's not going up that quick, it's like it's easy to say,
that's totally a thing,
right? Like it's, but with all the volume that we've been getting on the borrowing of MUSD, the last couple of times I've just said, okay, like there's more MUSD rewards than I was kind of expecting to see there. Then I just looked, okay, well, when's the last time I interacted with this to see how many hours it's been or how many days it's been, and like it's been actually paying quite well. A couple percent a day. I'm not sure if it's like averaging that right this moment, but like the last time I calculated it, it was like 7% over like a day and a half or something crazy like that.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
See,
getting the volume. It's really just the volume that pumps everything.
Yep.
Gee, you even talked about this, man. It still revolves back to the core staking protocol to have a responsible claim and compound strategy. And then if you go responsibly into this and responsible lending, that's the biggest thing on it. And then you can keep every flywheel going.
Amen. It's actually getting hard to decide what to do because there are so many good moves. And like I said, I'm pivoting into my strategy almost daily, but there's really not a terrible move right now, except selling MSS.
Right.
And I really mean it.
Yeah. I mean, because it doesn't matter where you put it, wherever you put it is going to financially benefit you. You just have to be responsible about it. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. When you buy like a rental property, right, you're getting paid, let's say $1,200 and your mortgage is $1,000, right? So you're just taking that $200 off the top. And this is very much the same thing. You're sort of investing most of it back in to support your investments, but you're just responsibly just sort of siphoning profit off the top.
And Aaron made a statement a couple of days ago about at a low price, make sure you can really set yourself up to, as the MSS price appreciates, you'll have more collateral, you'll have more room to borrow. So I'm setting myself up good for once we go on this next run that it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, the 50% stake bonus is tough to say no to, but come March 1st, and even now to some degree, you can pretty much see if the percentage change of a price on any given morning is green, and if so, compound, and if it's red, claim and add to Trove. And I bet you would last quite a while just doing that.
That's exactly what I've been.
Yeah, because even if price is stabilized, then you can I would compound personally on those days. But so it's like just use the data to inform your decision. And then, speaking on the collateral ratio, I was just having a conversation earlier. For me, that percentage is literally just how much am I around that day, right? Like if I'm glued to a computer I can lean into 170, 165 and just monitor prices very closely. Or if I'm sleeping, I might repay some of my loan and go to like 210. So it's, you know, I think it's more interesting to look at how much of your borrowed MUSD are you staking, and how much are you kind of putting back into MSS or profiting from. And that number to me is a little more interesting because that's your true risk, right? Like if I don't have enough MUSD to pay back, then my liquidation risk is high.
Yeah.
And actually, just to go back to what you just said there, Peter, a second ago, you know, kind of just about entering at the lower price so that, you know, your collateral builds up as the price appreciates, right? Like I think, you know, again, this is, I keep saying it, but this is the strategy kind of that, you know, G Money really showed everybody with that first video. But, you know, the one extra thing I wanted to add to that is, you know, MSS being as, you know, fairly volatile as it is, right? It's, you know, we're a smaller cap crypto. You know, the volatility doesn't have to always be a bad thing, right? You can use that to your advantage when you do catch it in those periods of sell-offs or liquidation, and you know you can benefit, you know, a lot more just because it has such an ability to bounce back in a big way, right? Like we can just pop down to this chart right here and pop it on the 4 hour. Like I mean, from, you know,
there's
three quarters of the 2 cents and
there's the 70K I bought of MSS.
Yeah, you and a bunch of other guys, right? But like,
oh yeah, it was massive. It was we didn't have a red day or a red moment. Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I wanted to add there, is just that, you know, definitely can use that volatility to your advantage if you make your moves accordingly.
Yeah, you jam that MSS in there, man. You can't go wrong, because once it starts to go up, that's so much you can borrow. So much.
Yeah, the price support and the fact that you're just literally getting more tokens is a really powerful 1-2 punch. And then if you were to claim from your stake and even add that, I mean, it snowballs quickly.
Right.
I saw a question on the MUSD and the stability pool going down.
This one?
Yeah. You can take it if you want.
I've answered this one quite a few times. I don't know if one of you guys wants to.
Yeah, so your MUSD in the stability pool, the reason it's called a stability pool is that it stabilizes the system. So when your loan gets liquidated, the loan is repaid via the stability pool MUSD. It's a good deal for the person at the time because you're getting MSS at 150%-ish of its value, of your MUSD value. So this is why putting the MSS rewards back into Trove is so advantageous. At that moment, you are, you know, able to essentially re-borrow the MUSD that you lost, because you put this MSS in 150%, and then you can essentially borrow, let's say, 100% from that, right? So that's why the stability pool goes down.
Great answer, but actually, you know, while we're on the topic, let me maybe address some common misconceptions or related to this. So a lot of people make a connection between their Trove and their stability pool deposit. It's important to know, like, those are completely separate things. And, you know, Trove's getting liquidated does impact stability pool deposits, but it has nothing to do with like your particular Trove.
It's your stake in the stability pool compared to the stability pool.
I mean, probably the easiest way to look at it is just like it's a percentage thing, right? So, you know, just say there's a massive liquidation, someone's Trove gets blown up, a huge one. So when that Trove gets liquidated, just say, like, you know, it needs 10% of the MUSD in the stability pool to repay that bad loan. So basically what's going to happen in that case is, and just to throw out some numbers, let's just say there's like 100,000 MUSD staked in the stability pool, and when it needs 10,000 MUSD to repay the bad loan, that's exactly 10%. So what's going to happen is that for every, you know, dollar that anybody has in the stability pool, you're going to lose 10 cents, right? Or 10 cents.
Per 100, you're losing 10% of your stability pool stake, I think is the easy way to say it.
Yeah, and then at the same time, you're getting, you know, the MSS that's, going into the stability pool to basically make everybody whole for losing that MUSD, you get that 10% of that as well, which, should be right around 150% typically, or could be even more if,
it could be better.
If the protocol's under, 200, people can get liquidated at over 150%. So, so again, and just to go back to that example, there's 100,000 MUSD in the stability pool, a 10,000 MUSD loan gets liquidated. Every MUSD depositor in the stability pool loses 10%, but let's just for simplicity say it's exactly 150%, the MSS value that's coming in. There's going to be $15,000 of MSS coming into the stability pool to make up for that 10,000 MUSD that got taken out. So, basically in that example, I would be up $5,000 value, right? Because I would lose 10,000 MUSD, but I would gain 15,000 worth of.
Yeah.
And it took a little trial and error, just some back and forth. And G, you hit very good on, if you're away, figure out a comfortable collateral ratio for if you're sleeping or if you're away from your computer, or like with you, Mr. Adventure, you can go way down there if you need to.
Yeah. And I was surprised by the, the BNB dump. Like, you couldn't really buy MSS fast enough to compete with the massive price depreciation in BNB. But again, right, like getting liquidated isn't like the end of the world. It's just something you're sort of trying to avoid. But,
right.
It's I see it as the sooner I can access money to work for me or pay myself, the better. Obviously up into a point, but like even right now I'm sitting at 182%, and it's killing me to not go to 170 and do something with that money. So I'm probably going to do that, and that's just because I'm around and the price is up and yada yada. So I did see a question on the just when you compound, or when I compound, or when I claim on my stake, my MSS stake. And I was just saying, if so, trying to keep my Trove alive is the goal. So if price is going up, I'm less incentivized to claim from my stake because I don't need to, and I would rather get the 2% daily compound, right, and compound it. But if I need to buffer my Trove, or let's say I want to borrow more for any given reason, I can claim MSS, add to my collateral, and then do something with the borrowed MUSD. And there's times where maybe the price is going down and I want to literally hold the floor. I'm just going to max borrow MUSD, cycle it into MSS, add to my Trove, and that's kind of a move for whales to support at any given floor. So very, very deep strategy sometimes.
It's just so many choices.
Lots of choices.
Let's grab a couple of these questions quick. It's a good strategy to accumulate a large position of MSS and then start the process of moving into MoonYield. I mean, my opinion is that it's really up to your own, goals and, what you want to do. Personally, I really love the MoonYield protocol. So no matter how big my position in like the core MSS staking protocol was, I'd still want to be playing around in MoonYield at the very least to get myself comfortable with it if I was new.
I would, I think a good play for people is to set aside some funds just to buy MUSD and put that in the stability pool. And then on liquidations, if they do happen, you'll get MSS to start a Trove with, essentially.
Yeah, and a nice
good idea.
Yeah, and then you'll already have a stake earning this, 500 APR, and then you'll have a Trove as well.
So we got a question here. Might be a dumb question, but the 2% MSS compound, any chance there could be an option now for it to go straight to open a Trove?
I mean, I think they mean the claim, right? Like the claim would go straight to the Trove. Well, or I guess it could be the compound, but it's kind of like you're sort of creating 2% liquid MSS right out of the gate, which isn't great. Would be my comment on that,
Yeah, no, I mean that. I think our compounding is already probably overly generous, and that's with the way that it currently works without being able to turn it liquid.
Yeah, I could see a claim to Trove just like you can claim from the stability pool. Like that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. See, but my opinion on that is it's a bit of an edge case, right? Just because like you have to already have a Trove open, or else like opening a Trove, you need like parameters.
It's true. Yeah.
Probably best to just keep things simple and keep them separate.
Yeah.
Rick says, I take the MSS earned from liquidation and throw it right into my MSS stake. Got the 50% bonus. Thanks for getting liquidated, y'all. Yeah.
Rick rarely gives free advice, so I'm surprised he's doing that.
Understand this process clearly now. Thanks for that.
Nice.
Well, we're doing a good job explaining, boys.
Numbers talk.
Awesome. Alpha being dropped. Thanks for this. You bet. When I needed to buffer my trove, I withdraw from the stability pool, bought MSS, and added to my trove. It saved me from being liquidated. There you go, guys.
So I haven't run the math, but I assume this is a way better move than just repaying your loan, because you're buffering the price, right, and you're adding to your trove.
Yeah. And also, like, I mean, if you're expecting the price to bounce, you're going to have that much more.
A ton more, yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, but I do think in the moment it's mathematically like a more supportive move to your loan.
Sorry, I was reading a comment. I missed what you said.
Oh, I'm just saying. I think mathematically in the moment, it's more supportive to your loan to do this cycle than just pay back the MUSD.
Yeah. Book all the way. Book to $1 and beyond. Let's go. Comment here. I think we can bring mint price down, stating that minting MSS, I'll be auto staked. So the mint price is auto calculated, so we can't really manipulate that. Not sure how the auto staking ties in with that comment though.
Yeah,
apparently,
not sure on that.
Apparently it is better to repay the debt. I'm surprised.
Well, this is not something that's black and white though. Like, I mean, if you just
that's true. It depends on MUSD price. Yeah.
Well, and also like if I think there's a 90% chance MSS is about to bounce hard, then there's no way it's better to pay off the debt, right? Like,
I'm buying MSS.
When MUSD was even $1.30, I was able to make this better because I was just inventing so much money to put back into MSS.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't look at anything like upside differences, or like if you're just looking strictly at like how do I get my collateral ratio to go up even a little bit more, like of course it's going to be better to pay off the MUSD. But I mean, I would almost always go the other way though, just because
it's too juicy. Well, if you have a stake, it just supports the stake too, and I mean
there's a lot of benefits to doing it the other way, maybe
and you're contributing to volume as well, in terms of just money flowing through MoonYield, which I think benefits everyone. Yeah,
and I mean, we're still small enough that it doesn't take much to start moving the momentum the right direction, right? So it's you don't need to do $100,000 buys to push things in the right direction. So I think that's something else to take into consideration.
Just $100,000 days.
Got a comment here. Miyagi, any way to keep the staking bonus in place permanently for those that have an open trove? Maybe thresholds need to be met. Could encourage even more people to use MoonYield.
I want less inflation.
So I mean, my opinion is like the staking bonus is great. Like we can see how much MSS it's really driving into the staking contract. I don't know about having it like last forever or be conditional on things. I think it's just a great like random promotion to have and to really like re-energize the community and really drive activity the way that we wanted.
We might as well just change the compound percentage at that point.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Yep. I agree with you.
The new guys working on their balances really appreciated it, Aaron. They were very grateful for that.
Oh, I'm grateful for that.
Everybody's winning. I love it.
Yeah.
Uncle Rick with the February 50% bonus, then March 50% tax increase.
Oh my God, the Rick taxes are back.
We'd still benefit. Compound interest would win still.
Did we miss anything talking about the basics? I know we had some comments that it's being well understood. maybe if anybody has any questions, definitely feel free to throw them in. I'll grab this book question in the meantime. We can also have an AMA lottery every week. Oh, like a giveaway?
Interesting.
Well, the surprise this week was G Money.
Yes.
I may be building one.
Is chapter 3 open? Yeah, so it is chapter 3 right now for book, but we do not have any farms for chapter 3. The farms have been discontinued until further notice, until we've decided how we need to adjust them so it's beneficial for everybody. So for now, if you want book, you got to buy it. Great project, Aaron. Long may it continue. Buy tickets using MSS.
That's, yeah, it's being actively developed.
So what's a better decision, to take MSS earned from liquidations and add to Trove and borrow MUSD, or throw it into the 2% staking? Is either
I would say both good plays this month. I think the staking's a better play. But come March, it's probably Trove is a better play.
Yeah, I think this really depends on the personal position as well. Because I mean, if liquidations are happening, then chances
yeah, that's true.
MSS price is dropping, so you may need to beefing up your Trove. So I think it's really comes down to the individual position and your risk tolerance and how big your stake is. I mean, there's just so many factors to take into consideration there. But I think the ultimate answer is they're both good options. It just which one's better for you is kind of depends.
Yeah.
Better make use of that juicy 50% bonus while it's there.
So juicy.
I've personally just been adding to my 2%. Yeah, that works. After farms closing, what are the plans for book? We got tons planned for book. Keep in mind, it is a meme coin. So, that's part of the reason why the farms need to get reconsidered, is because people were looking at it like a yield farm, and that's not at all what the project's about. So it's a token that you buy and you hold it for Moon. That's all you got to do. Staking right now, Rick says. So I think that was the answer to the earlier question.
Just do it.
G Money a dev?
Yes, I am a dev. Yeah, I've probably been in like Web3 for maybe 5 or 6 years, and a dev for about 10.
Crypto Trini says, "Let's go MSS, going 7 months strong." Yes, sir.
Aaron, I'll tell you, man, what I've always appreciated about this is we progress, the choices increase, and the profits with everything you put out there, man. If we just open our eyes up, we can see how to make money daily.
Yeah, everybody likes making money.
Oh, you know how.
Does locking away book have the same effect on price as burning? You might want to look. I talked about this in detail last week's AMA. That's probably a good one to watch if you want a lot more details on the new tool coming up. I mean, burning, you're basically destroying the tokens, right? Like in the V3 single-sided tool, somebody else is going to be buying those tokens, so they don't get destroyed. But at the same time, like the person that locks them up can't take them out. You can only take it out once it's fully BNB. So it's it's
good.
Both super bullish.
Yeah. It's semi-locked, semi-not. But
yeah,
the person buying the book would have to dump it immediately, which would for no profit, so it wouldn't even really sell. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Just go buy books while it's cheap. Yep, anything under 10 cents is a steal. It's super early, so get your books. How big is your team, Aaron? Fairly small at the moment. Fairly small. Saw a protocol whereby a person input 1,000 MSS, 100 book, and purchases one raffle ticket. And every 3 days, a winner is selected and free MSS book goes directly to that person's wallet.
Send it. Send the link.
Yeah, let's see it. Maybe we can have book farms open for MSS and MoonYield deposits only. Well, that's just the worst of, I mean, if you look at what the book farms are trying to achieve, that's the worst of all worlds to do that. You know, it basically gets used as a yield farm, which is not what we want. And it also does not bring any new audience in. So it basically, yeah, that doesn't work. When LP bonding and for what coin? With bomb ecosystem. Yeah, so the reason that I haven't put, well, I guess let me answer the questions first. So the LP bonding, we were going to use Moonshare as the reward token. And it would work just like Bomb did, which in the bonding on Bomb worked really well. I mean, that was some of the best buy pressure that we got on Bomb in a long time was when we had the LP bonding going. But, you know, I think that once we get more activity into MoonYield, and that could start with the MUSD marketing that I was talking about earlier, I think then we could probably look to get the LP bonding system going. My only concern is that it's basically like it's a great thing to get going, and you know it's going to build up our liquidity and give guys something else to do with their tokens, but it's going to put sell pressure on Moonshare, and that's one of the tokens that, you know, probably we don't want too much more sell pressure on it than we're getting right now. So yeah, once we get that solved, we'll get that up and running.
Focus on the wheel right now, guys. The wheel's where you're going to make you quick money. Also, it's going to make your position a whole lot healthier.
Do we withdraw from Chapter 2 farms now? Yep, you can go ahead and withdraw. They're not paying any more rewards. All right, well, we've been on for almost an hour. You guys have anything else you want to share while we maybe see if any other questions come in?
G, I want to see that new video, man. That the wheel loop continues, sir.
It does continue, yes. Yeah, it's an exciting time in the project. I mean, I think we're in a really good spot.
Well, so one thing actually I wanted to put together for this AMA, but I didn't quite have the time, was you know, I wanted to put together some stats just because I think that, you know, MoonYields, it's been around for just a little bit over a month now, and you know, it's had quite the ups and downs, but you know, I think overall it's, you know, it's working as good as we could have hoped, you know, when we launched it. And, you know, and I do want to gather some stats of just like how much MUSD has been minted, you know, overall, and like, just like, I don't know, just some various stats to show like how successful, you know, the protocol's been over the first month. And I'll try and get those numbers together maybe for next week's AMA. But yeah, I mean, for everyone that's participated in MoonYield, you know, congratulations, and you know, thanks for helping us, you know, make it a success. And you know, again, we keep saying it, but G Money, those videos, you're really, you know, getting people on board and getting people to understand, and you know, you're a big part of the reason why we had so much success in the protocol this month. So
something
bringing
go ahead.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Something that's been really noticeable over the last week and a half is that Trove numbers are staying up higher consistently. So that's a really good sign to see.
Yeah. Yeah. More volume. I think that's the biggest thing. Don't sell MSS, and more volume through MoonYield.
The key to it is, Gene, you drove this home. It doesn't matter the size of your bag. Start the wheel. This wheel actually grows a whole lot faster than you think. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I remember thinking I really wanted to get to like 500,000 MSS collateral, and then I looked down, it was at like 3 million or something, and was just like, wow, like unbelievable.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck is going on here? G's making the real money appear.
I mean, it was like, yeah, it was not money in my pocket, but it represented, you know, basically locking up MSS and the liquidity that had been put into the pool.
Right.
Yeah.
So appreciative of this project, Aaron and team. Life-changing. Love to see that. When the advert goes out, MUSD will shoot up in price. Best to buy MUSD before advert goes out.
I'll be selling into MUSD. Don't worry.
Money coming up, guys. Get in. Hey, get your bags in. This is a rocket ship about to take off again to the next level.
All right. Got one more comment, then we'll close it up for today. Great job, team, as usual. This project is definitely going places. Let's keep the education going. Maybe even some animations of the flywheel on the homepage would be great. Yeah, I think that's actually the one thing that needs to happen before we do the advertising, is just making the site a little bit more self-explanatory and easier for someone to understand without having to like watch videos or, you know, I think actually like there's a lot of, well, I think like, you know, Book needs those same improvements, although it's already being worked on by somebody. But yeah, I think I think the protocols can all have a lot more success if just a random person could just jump into the homepage and just kind of have like a decent idea of what's going on and like what, you know, direction they should be going in. And, you know, I think that's definitely an area we can improve.
Yeah. Awesome. Great things to come.
Definitely. All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And thanks to my co-hosts and guests. It's a lot of fun.
Always glad to be here.
Yes, everybody enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the community.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks,
oh, wow.